I know product research when it comes to the Amazon FBA private label space can be one of the most challenging things to do, but honestly it is one of the most important pieces to growing a very large Amazon FBA private label business. I get questions all the time about product research, and I wanted to make this video just for the Prestige fam to go over some of my biggest and most important tips when it comes to doing really good product research. Let's go. What is up, guys, and welcome back to the Prestige Amazon FBA YouTube family. If you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Definitely consider subscribing if you're interested in anything Amazon FBA. Who am I? My name is Andy. I've been selling on the Amazon platform as a private label seller for a few years now. So if you're interested in anything Amazon FBA, definitely consider subscribing, as again, I release videos about twice a week on anything you can basically imagine about the Amazon FBA private label space. If you guys do have an Instagram, check me out on Instagram, where I post daily content on Amazon FBA specific topics. You can find that at the official Andy Lamb. I also have a very growing Facebook group that we're almost at about 1,000 members, I think, so definitely check out Prestige Amazon FBA Mastermind on Facebook, and all of that is linked down below for you to grab conveniently. Down there is also a free cheat sheet if you guys are just starting out, or if you guys are interested in some free, really cool tips about Amazon FBA, definitely go download that cheat sheet. And if you guys are interested in a free 30-minute coaching call, definitely stay till the end of this video. I know that was a super long intro, but let's just get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about in this video is review competitiveness. Now, I know if you've seen any of the videos on Amazon, on YouTube about Amazon FBA from other sellers, or if you've gone through courses, a lot of people like to preach, look for those top 5 to 10 reviews and make sure all the top 5 to 10 reviews have, 50 to 75 reviews or 75 to 100 reviews tops. And, that can be a good tip sometimes, but you guys really need to take a step back. And I think this is one of the biggest reasons why people find product research so difficult nowadays, is because it's so very hard to find those specific products and those specific niches or sub-niches that have very low review counts with still a high demand. So, you guys take a step back. If you've done product research for a while, I've done product research for years, and it's extremely hard to find, certain niches with high demand, with the top 5 to 10 products only having, a maximum of 75 to 100 reviews. It's extremely difficult and almost impossible nowadays, especially in 2019 and 2020. And, we're already halfway through the year, so going into 2021, it's going to get more and more difficult. I'm not saying that it's impossible, because there are huge hidden gems with these low review counts, but still such a high demand, especially right now in the current crisis of the pandemic. There are certain products and categories that do have these low review counts, but it's extremely hard to find, and that is my point. I personally like to teach, and I personally look through other types of products with potential. And when I say that, I don't completely disregard products with, top 2 or 1 sellers with, 1,000 to 500 reviews. I don't completely disregard that. I like to make sure that there's potential. There's ways for me to be able to differentiate and stand out within a certain product. If I know that I'm able to get into this certain type of product and stand out in a way that adds a lot of value to the customer, but still able to compete at a lower review rate, I will definitely spend my time in doing so. It is more worthwhile for me than to jump into something with low review count but also a really low demand. It's like taking a very small piece of a very small pie. If you guys have heard of that analogy before, you want to be able to go for things that have high search volume and be able to take a piece of that larger pie. Even in the short term, if you were to launch a product, you may not get a lot of initial sales, but once you're able to build up that social proof and put in that work to differentiate, a lot of people will be able to see that. A lot of customers will be able to see that you're differentiating in a way that benefits them more, and they won't hesitate to actually purchase your product, and eventually you'll be able to even sell at a higher price point than your competitors are. So if your competitor has like 1,000 reviews or 500 reviews and they're selling something for $20, but you come out with a product that initially costs you a little more, or you're able to differentiate or better the quality in a certain way that adds more value, you may be able to increase that price point above your competitors. And I've done that personally with a lot of my products. So never hesitate to be able to open your range and just not limit yourself to niches and sub-niches or products with very low review counts, because there's so much more potential outside and otherwise. Yeah, just keep an open mind. Now that kind of just brings me to my next point, and it's very similar to the first point, but again, I don't let a lot of high review competitors scare me off too easily. You want to be able to keep in mind, if you see certain competitors up there competing with top competitors that have hundreds to thousands of reviews, and you see one or two players that are doing consistent sales that have less than 50 reviews, 30 reviews, it is a really good indication that you will be able to actually compete in that niche as well. I've done this with tons and tons of products. A few of my products I've competed against people with thousands of reviews, and this is just exactly what I'm saying. If you see somebody that has proof of that you're able to compete, even with a lower amount of social proof, it is still very possible to make what seems to be a competitive product very profitable for you, even if you don't have thousands and thousands of reviews. So it's very, very important to keep that open mind. Now again, you also need to keep in mind of competitiveness, right? So when I say this, if you see like the top 10 competitors with 1,000 to 5,000 reviews, it is extremely difficult. It would be extremely difficult for you to be able to compete in that niche, just because you'd be fighting for usually the top 10, the top 20 positions, right? Most people don't go past that. 70 to 80% of the shoppers usually shop on the first page and shop within the first few listings. So it's extremely important that if it's obviously too competitive, and when I say obviously too competitive, it's products that have 1,000 to 10,000 maybe reviews on the first 10 listings. I would likely shy away from that, and I would advise you guys to kind of step away from those types of products as well. Those products have been around for years and years and years, likely, so it would be extremely difficult for you to be able to compete in those niches. So when I say that, don't be afraid to compete against somewhat competitive niches. Don't go against hyper competitive niches, if you guys catch that flow for where I'm going. It can be difficult in some points, but just make sure that you guys do keep in mind that there is a high possibility of competing within high demand products. Just don't go competing against people with 10,000 reviews, especially if the top 10 listings have 10,000 reviews. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. So the next point that I do definitely want to address is to talk about the demand of a product. Now, a lot of people, and especially a lot of new sellers, when they're just starting to come into the Amazon space, like to heavily focus on review competitiveness. Yes, that is very important. I spent my first 2 points talking about this, but it is really important to be able to, find products with actual demand. It's more common than not, you'll see, and a lot of new sellers will, again, base all of their decisions based on review competitiveness. They'll find a certain product with very low review counts, but it may be in fact that these products only have 1,000 monthly searches for the most relevant keywords. And within, if you guys are thinking about this, if you have 1,000 monthly searches, and not to say that they're all buyers, and you're competing against 10 people with more reviews than you are, it is a very small piece of the pie that you may be getting. So it is extremely important to use product research tools, keyword research tools, to be able to find very close and relative search volumes for certain keywords that you would be targeting. So a lot of actually professional sellers and experienced sellers like myself like to actually just look at keywords and look on the SEO end to see if the demand is actually there, and that will be a good indication for whether or not me or other sellers would want to get into a product. If it has enough demand and or competitive isn't too if the review competitiveness isn't too harsh, it could be a good product to get into, as opposed to just looking at the actual reviews and basing your decision off of that. So demand is very huge, and it's an extremely important tool and an extremely important indication of whether or not a product will be able to succeed and thrive, especially on a long-term basis. And it'll tell you actually whether or not certain products are just trending. So if you're looking at hand sanitizer right now, yes, hand sanitizer has always been on sale, but it has never seen the demand that it has seen within the last few months. So, a lot of product research tools like Helium 10 and Jumbo Scout, if you guys haven't already, and if you guys haven't used any of these research tools and you guys are doing Amazon FBA product research, you guys need to get these tools. I've been shouting this out to my audience, but there's 50% off codes down below, and in the cheat sheet, if you haven't gotten the cheat sheet already, definitely go grab that. But it's a super good deal, but I definitely have saved so much time and money actually using these softwares, so I highly advise you guys get it. But again, product research and just taking into account keyword search volume and the demand of a product is extremely important. Another good thing to keep in mind is to also look at the top left-hand corner, I believe, depends on where your browser is. But Amazon will actually tell you, how many items populate for the certain search term you're looking for. So once you find, a product that has relatively low review competitiveness but has a high search volume demand, you may want to see how many people you're competing against and how many people or how many products are actually listed for the certain keywords that you're trying to rank for. So this actually gives you a really good indication of, how many people are ranked for those certain keywords, how many people you would have to compete against. It'll usually say, showing results of like 1 to 40,000 or 4,000 or 10,000. That'll give you a good indication of, how fast you'll be able to rank, how many people you're competing against, how many people are within that same niche, or how many people are ranked for those keywords. So for example, if you list a product and you're competing against 40,000 other products, it's likely that you won't show up on, the first 20 pages for a little while, depending on your launch strategy. But another good thing to keep in mind. But hopefully this video helps you guys out. These are some of my biggest product research tips and tricks for you guys. Again, don't be too scared when you see too many reviews. If you see too many reviews, like a hyper competitiveness for review counts, definitely stay away. But keep an open mind. There's always different factors to keep in mind, and a lot of people actually shy away from these certain things. So there could be really big opportunities and opportunities that I personally found and thrive from now. So again, super useful to keep in mind. But hopefully you guys found that helpful. Again, if you guys did, don't forget to drop a like and follow if you guys want more content just like this. Again, I appreciate you guys for staying to the end of this video. Be sure to engage with the video because it always helps out the YouTube algorithm and helps more people find this video. So hopefully you found this useful. It would help others as well. Again, if you guys are interested in that free 30-minute coaching call, definitely comment down below, #Prestige Amazon FBA, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you guys have any questions, as always, drop them down below. I get to my questions pretty quickly. Check out the Facebook group, Instagram page, it's all direct linked down below. But until next time, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.